Morning, guys. This is not my music. It's Caleb radio. Sun's kind of bright here. I'm going to add some people on here. Okay, so if you notice my title here, I am not a CPS worker. I have never been a CPS worker. Okay? I would be more than happy to explain what I am or was. So, to clear up any questions that you might have. Okay? And my stuff is not a scam. Hold on. I tagged a few friends on here. It's kind of bright in this location. Let me drive a little bit, see if I can get out of the sun. I do my videos in between dropping my daughter off and going to between that and then having to go back home to get my son ready for school. So just bear with me. I'm going to try to get in a location where the sun's not in my eyes. Usually I park over there by my building. They got a bunch of construction. Looks like they're getting ready to do the parking lot, which is good because I'd like to have a new parking lot. So I'm going to pull over here, see if I can get out of the sun. Alright. Hey, Teresa. Alright, guys. So, I keep getting this thing that people think I'm a CPS worker. I'm not a CPS worker, guys. I've never taken children away from their families. I've never had a case where I was in charge of the cases or anything like that. I was a parent aid company. Now, what that means was I had a contract with the state of Missouri with children's treatment services like a daycare or a hospital or, let's see, who else gets those contracts? Okay, daycares, hospitals, group homes, let's see, counselors. Okay, hey, Sandy. Okay, so parent aid contract. What that was I did many different things. I was contracted to do drug drops. I was contracted to do visitations, counseling. I was also contracted to do parent education. Let's see, parent education, domestic violence counseling. I was contracted for quite a bit. Okay, so they didn't always use my services. In fact, they didn't use my services. Children's Division did not use my services hey, Sandy, you wanted to come on here? Hold on. Well, no, it went away. So if you want to come on here, you're more than welcome to. You just have to ask again. Okay? I'm doing okay, Miss Sandy. The thing is, people don't seem to understand what the contract was. Okay, I had a business. I had an EIN. I had a contract. And the thing is, CPS didn't honor their contract. If I read the contract to you today of what our contract stated, they were in breach of my contract like 6 times. Okay? They don't honor their own contracts. Okay? They don't care. I have them on audio saying they don't care about their contracts. That they can do what they want. And they do. They do exactly what they want. Okay? So I lost my contract because I exposed their wickedness, their forging of documents. I exposed supervisors for lying. I exposed supervisors for manipulating and conducting investigations that shouldn't have happened. Children that should not have been taken. I exposed several different things to the point where 5 foster homes got shut down during this 20 months of my contract. So, I'd like to know the information that these people are talking about that says that I am a CPS worker, because I have never been a CPS worker. Okay, I've been a counselor, I've been a parent aid company. Now, my parent aid company, the majority of what we did were supervised visitations. Our reports indicated whether or not we felt that the children should be returned to the parents, okay? But we didn't make that final decision. The judge did, okay? That wasn't something that we took very lightly. In fact, we tried very hard to help our parents do everything that they could to get their children back if they wanted to. Now, there were some cases where we just shook our head and realized those parents weren't going to do anything to try to get their kids back. Not one thing, okay? So, unfortunately, guys, I know everybody wants to just shut down CPS. But do you see the news every single day? Facebook, where all these parents are killing their children, starving their children. Our foster homes are starving our children. They're killing our children. The problem is, guys, we live in a sick society where children's lives are at danger every single day, and we need a system to protect them. CPS is corrupt. It needs an overhaul, but I do not believe that we need to completely shut it down. And I know that's a shocker, guys, especially coming from me, since I've lived in the system my whole life, okay? The thing is, guys, we need a system that actually protects our children, not traffics our children, okay? The thing is, we could save so much money. Yes, they are needed. The problem is, the rich, the really rich, don't ever get their children taken. You know why? Because CPS knows that they would not be able to stand to keep them, okay? They will, a lot of families don't know this, and we try to educate our families. I try to talk to people everywhere I go, and that is, do not allow CPS in your home, okay? Now, if they come to your door, and they're knocking on your door, and they're saying, we have an allegation against you, we need to come in and check the well-being of your children. My first question is, do you have a warrant? Do you know if those allegations are true? And the next thing I would say is, are you a doctor? Are you able to check my child? Are you a medical doctor? Well, if not, if you have a concern, I will take them to the doctors tomorrow and give you a doctor's note. But you're not coming in, you're not a doctor, you're not going to examine my child, you're not going to talk to my child. Now, I do encourage them to have the children wave at them at the door, but don't allow them in your home, okay? Because here's the thing, and then if they accuse you of drugs, say, do you have a drug test? I'll piss right here in front of you. Right here, on the doorstep where everybody can see. I do it. Because here's the thing, guys. You can't do drugs and raise children. So if you are doing drugs, get your act together. Get off of drugs. 2, if they're coming to your house because of an allegation, then somebody's talking, and you need to inform your children not to talk to anybody at school, okay? Yes, you deny them entry to your home unless they have a warrant. Okay, now if they have a warrant, that means they've already gone before a judge, and the judge has signed off on allowing you to for them to come into your home, okay? But you record it. Record everything. Do not allow anybody in your home, the police or anybody. And do not, Candace, they never came to my door. They called my phone and never checked anything. They ran with a bunch of hearsay. Okay, so even with a hearsay, they can't take your children. Okay, they come in here in our homes, big and bad, like they can just, they actually showed up on my doorstep, guys, and I love my daughter, I love my husband, stupid them, let them in my house, okay, let them in my house. Okay, I was at McDonald's at the time. I got the call from my daughter. I had an issue with an old parent aide that I was suing for breach of her contract. And the day that she got her notice that I was suing her, she called CPS on me, okay? So, and made up all this stuff that I was abusing my autistic son, okay? So I was very upset. I go to the house. They're already in the house. I think it was 3 CPS workers and a police officer, okay? So they had already intended on taking my son that day. Not my older children, but just my son. Okay, because there was no allegations against anybody but my son, okay? So since I know the system, I'm calling all of the workers that work with my son 3 days a week, his special speech therapist, his occupational therapist. I'm having them call, I'm having them contact the caseworkers. I'm having them tell them the conditions of my son, how dangerous he is, why we do what we do, and get in there, and I'm like, you're not taking my son. You're not walking out the door, not signing anything. You don't get the right to do anything, okay? And I said, now if you have a problem or an issue or concern, I'm more than happy to talk with you about it. And then they wanted to check my house. Well, the thing is, guys, they didn't have to check my house. I said, my children don't starve, but I went ahead and showed them my fridge, my food, okay? Because I was ready to get them out of my house, okay? And then it was, well, let me see where your kids sleep. So I showed them where my kids sleep. And then they wanted to go up in my bedroom. I said, you're not going up in my bedroom. That's my sex room. You ain't going up there. You ain't seeing all my sex. I was just messing with them. But I still didn't show them my bedroom, okay? Because that's my personal domain. I said, my kids don't go up there. You're not going up there. That's mine and mine alone, okay? But I was teasing the police officer. I was like, I got a sex dungeon up there. You ain't checking it out? I was mad, but I was at that point where I was like, you ain't going to my bedroom, okay? So, and they didn't. They respected that. I said, my children don't go up there. You're not going up there. So, and they didn't. They didn't push it any further. But, of course, the case was closed within the 30 days. But the thing is, guys, I knew my rights, okay? They intended on taking my child that day, okay? And I was not going to let them walk out of that door with my son, okay? What they didn't know is I already had a gun already cocked and ready to go. My friend told me to put it in the trunk of my car. I was so distraught. I had already, the second I had gotten the call, see, I conceal and carry, guys. I was so distraught. I hadn't even realized I pulled my gun out and cocked it and said I'm on my way. I didn't even know I pulled my gun out. It was just an instinct of, I got to go protect my kids, okay? Now, but I can tell you this, they would not have taken my child, okay? Because I've been in the system my whole life, they would have abused my son, okay? My son has special needs. He has special special schedule, and if you mess up his schedule, it means it messes him up, okay? So the thing is, guys, know your rights before your rights are treaded upon, okay? That is important. Educate yourself. I tell my parents all the time, educate yourself. If you don't know something, learn it, okay? I gave a homework last night to a lady that I'm trying to help. I told her, educate yourself, as if you have to turn around and teach it to somebody who has no idea what you're talking about. So, we are studying right now the trauma it causes for children to be separated from their parents, right? Every parent should read that. Every parent should educate themselves on that so that when the caseworker shows up, you're smarter than them. Not taking my child, you're not coming in my home, you're not causing trauma to my children. And you need to educate yourself, know what your rights are, know what the Constitution says, okay? Watch videos if you don't know how to respond to them. Watch some of these videos that people have made where they come to their door, when they come to their door and they don't know what to do and they bully you, telling you, well, if you don't have anything to hide, then you'll let me in your door, okay? So the problem is CPS think they're gods and they think that they can infringe on your rights. They've been trained. They actually train these people. They're narcissistic. A lot of them are control freaks. Even in their own lives, they're control freaks, okay? They literally do everything they can to control every aspect of your life, okay? They take personal like or dislike to you. if you do have an open case, you better treat them as if they're your best friend, even if you can't stand them. Because here's the reason why I tell my parents this. They either make or break your case. If you treat them like crap and you cuss them out every time you talk to them and you don't respond to them when they call you and stuff like that, they're just going to retaliate against you, take your visits away from you, and then recommend that you don't get your kids back because you're non-compliant. Okay? Now, if you do have an open case and you do want help fighting CPS, I'm more than happy to give you advice. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm more than happy to help you. I have had 133 cases. When I was a parent aid company, we had 88 cases that we closed. Closed. That means reunifications, adoptions, and TPRs. Okay, and I can explain exactly anything that you need to know about CPS. Their tactics, what they do, how to prove when they're lying on your documents, and what to look for if you have drug drops. They specifically use companies that will lie for them. Okay? They will burn your butt. Absolutely, Lee, they sure will. Telling my sister a thing I suppose to have said to a therapist. Very, Madison County DSS says, violated my HIPAA rights several times last year. Tracy, you need to contact the federal government with HIPAA, and you can actually file a complaint. Okay? Tracy, if they are giving your information to your sister, and you have proof of it, not just hearsay, you have to have proof of it, okay? Either in writing or your sister writes up an affidavit claiming what they've told her. If that is the case, HIPAA violation is federal, not state. And if they have violated that, you could actually shut down that CPS office. And I'd be more than happy to show you how to do that. So if you want help doing that, contact me after this video. I'm more than happy to help you how to do that, okay? HIPAA violation is very serious, okay? Especially if it's coming from a therapist, okay? And CPS violates that all the time. You know, when I was waiting several times to go in for court hearings, I would hear these caseworkers, okay, talking about other cases out in the waiting room, okay? They would be blabbing their mouths, saying names and stuff and talking about it to other caseworkers, and you know, that was a violation. And I would report them to their supervisors because they were sitting out there, and I would tell them exactly what I heard about the case. I was taking notes. And then I would say, who's your supervisor? I'd walk right up to them. I'd say, who's your supervisor? They'd tell me who their supervisor, and I'd act real nice to them, right? But what they didn't know was I was getting ready to file a complaint against them for doing so, okay? So, they violate that HIPAA violation all the time, and if we can shut them down, especially the ones that are out there doing things that they shouldn't, if you can get them on a HIPAA violation, you can get them in a lot of trouble, okay? Because that's federal. That's not state. That's federal. It's federal law, okay? So, more than happy to show you how to file a complaint against the HIPAA violation, okay? A lot of times our lawyers do that as well. So Lucinda, psych eval doctor says it's not some HIPAA, but another psychiatrist says they are. What exactly is the correct answer? Psych eval doctor says it's not. It is a HIPAA violation. Absolutely is a HIPAA violation. The psychiatrist says, I would believe your psychiatrist, not your doctor. Okay? So, absolutely, you need to look into that, exactly what was said, and you need to have your proof. Now, you can't just go in hearsay, guys. That's why I tell everybody, document everything. And if you have a phone conversation and you haven't recorded the phone conversation, what you need to do is after that conversation, you look at your phone and you get the date, the exact time they called, and the exact time that you hung up. And then you send out an email that says, per our conversation on such and such a date, at such and such a time, the conversation lasted, say, 12 minutes and 13 seconds. You put the exact time, okay, and you say, I have my understanding of our conversation. This is what was said. This is what was agreed. Whatever the conversation was, okay? I don't care if it's simply asking you whether or not you have a new job. If you haven't recorded it, I always told my parents to back it up with an email. Why? Because you may need it someday, okay? And then you tell them, if you don't have any concerns or issues, please respond to this email that you received this email. Why? Because then you have documentation of that phone conversation that you just had, okay? What do you mean it's not covered under HIPAA? I don't know. I'd have to know what you're talking about, Roseanne. They can use hearsay against us in family court, but we can't use hearsay against them in federal court. Correct. You can't use hearsay, guys. You have to have proof. You have to have documentation, okay? You have to have it. Because if you don't have the documentation and you don't have the proof, unfortunately, because of their position, see, and that's where supervisors would get away with lying on the stand because of their position, okay? And that's where we had to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they were lying, okay? And so that's where we would teach our parents how to do that, okay? Oh, am I frozen up? I hate this. It doesn't show it on my end. So am I still frozen? Alright, well, I won't make this video long, guys. If anybody have any questions, any concerns, you know, I got a comment this morning that my fundraisers are scams. I'd like to know how my fundraisers are scams when I'm a 501c3 and I'm working very difficult, very hard situation here trying to get, I mean, I've received all 5 of my federal registrations. You can check out all of my registrations. I'm legit. This bull crap that I'm not a legit 501c3. I've been a 501c3 since, let's see, when did it go through? I think it went through March of 2016. But I have been a 501c3. I've been a nonprofit since 2005, okay? It's taken me 7 years to be where I am today, okay? So, I'm not a scam. I work very hard with what I do. And I'm going to continue working hard, helping as many families as I can. I'm going to get this treatment center. In fact, I'm parked right outside of it right here, right now. I'm going to turn this around. That building right there is my building. I've been praying very hard that everything works out, that I can get the grant proposal. I'm registered with the federal government. I can receive up to $11 million for my for-profit, Lucinda Pennington Parent Aiding Counseling Services. And then for my nonprofit, I can receive federal funding for my nonprofit up to $35 million a year. Okay? So my video's all broken up. It's got to be Facebook, guys. Alright. Well, I'm going to call it a day. God bless you. If you have any questions, give me a call. Alright. Talk to you later. Bye.